Flight boss, bitch, you know, for sure. Now, you're not listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, I want to talk about the respell. The respell. The letters R-E. And when you spell it out, it spells Ray a lot of times. You know, but just the frequency vibration that R carries and E carries. Now, R frequency goes very deep. That spirit can inhabit so many different bodies. Powerful. Just that sound, R. E also. E goes into a lot of frequencies. But, you know, E is more correlated to energy. And R is more correlated to maybe arch or R's, R energy, you know what I'm saying? Arch energy, far energy. What happens when you need car energy? Gas, the lightest form of energy. You see what I'm saying? Now, when we getting into, now I was just bouncing off shit right there though, just freestyling, and all my videos free. I'm freestyling now, but you know that was freestyle, like, you know what I'm saying. But for the most part, when we talk about R-E, now it's a spell, cause you have to spell it out, so it's a spell, right? Now I don't know if you don't quite understand what it's a spell, but a spell is a cast of spirits. Spirits hold certain intellectual properties. Now, if you don't want to call it spirits, let's just call it concepts. Let's call it ideas. Let's call it thought forms. But in so many shapes and forms, these are bodies that spirits can take. And the lighter the body, right? Y'all will correlate that to spirit anyway. But that's not, the spirit ain't that. It's just a spirit that's intelligent to take one of these. You may have a baby spirit that take this, but you would know that because they come into physical form real fast. But you have intelligent spirits that know how to stay in that world, stay in the headspace of this overall being that we are in, and be able to take plenty of different bodies to push out certain ideas and concepts that you are controlled by to this day. And a spirit might take or inhabit a physical a person that and take over their spirit in that body that could be the biggest influence and indoctrinate that spirit to play out characteristics physically in the body out to obtain more and more people, because this person is powerful enough based upon their planetary alignment or and what they can do in the physical world. So these spirits be looking at, oh, this is a nice ass body I can take right here to get out my world. These higher spirits, lesser and baby spirits, end up being in the mind space of you and becoming birthed in this world in some way, shape, or form. They be a lot of your children and shit like that. These are baby spirits, unexperienced spirits. They just here to experience. Experienced spirits that have been through a lot of lives already know how to take on all kinds, you know what I'm saying, and take on a bunch of bodies at one time. Now, when we talk about the R-E spell, now these two high evolved spirits, right, play out characteristics as keeping people in rotation. Now they create a lot of spirals, they create a lot of rotations, but in certain locations, like they're not specifically travelers or wanderers. They like to stay in specific locations. Now I explained in my last video how you can understand vibrations, but in this case, when we talk about these two spirits, now when you look at any word attached to R-E, like replay or redo or something, or redone or reproduced, reorganized, or anything anything that get tied to the letters re, it has some form of pattern, routine, rotation, which is a higher form, a higher firmament, less physical but still physical, higher form of a cell, jail cell, or house, or like when I say house, you could be in a spiritual house, right? So your house is decorated in a certain way. Say you're a spirit that never leaves that house. you only see things from your house perspective or from your windows. So for the most part, say your house is indoctrinated with this kind of cross and this kind of shit and this, that, and the third, right? You're under a spiritual roof. You're not going to see things in no other kind of way. You don't go in other people's houses. You don't even walk up and down the street to understand that that other people manage their houses and cut their grass differently than you do. So it's almost like that. So when we're looking at the respell, this is something that your spirit get put in because your spirit is in this physical body, is in this reality. So we create sigils and signs. So the frequency vibration is always going to be there. So no matter the sigil and sign we put on it, it's always going to carry out this energy. Now, the more signs and sigils we put on it in the energy realm that we are in, the physical realm, the things that's non-physical to physical realm, in this realm alone, not the frequency vibration realm, not the spirit realm, not the astral realm, but this realm alone, right? The more signs and shit we add to it, the more perceptions we give it, the more added to it, the more realities it got, the more perceptions it got, the more bodies it got, the more lights, forms, informations, sounds, shapes it got. So it's in more densities, and it's brought down to the point that it could be made out of something and that everybody even pay attention to buy or something like that. But for the most part, it get played out into so many different ways that it ain't even funny. So, you know, when you're talking about be careful of anything that's got RE attached to it. If it ain't something that you need to redo so you can be in a realm of reality of saying that it's been redone and still allow your spirit to be free, so a lot of other things could be done while you're not wasting your life experience in this realm of reality and being in this physical form with your spirit, wasting time on redoing things, then you will start to understand. Because see, when your spirit not free, your spirit end up being able, when you die, it only able to resonate with it was attached to. And if you consciously training your physical brain and the body you're in to only see things in this way, and you're doing it every day, it becomes a routine. So your spirit don't know anything else but those kind of lights, aka bodies, shapes, forms, gases. So it's only going to take another body like this because that's what it resonate with and that's what it used to. And then you get taught that this is you to the point that you don't see it no other way as a spirit. So you don't take no other bodies. You don't go nowhere else. You don't go to no other constellations. You don't travel nowhere. You ain't been nowhere. So when you look at even heavily indoctrinated people or heavily religious people, a lot of times these are people who haven't been nowhere, even physically. You know what I'm saying? These people who haven't been nowhere or done nothing in life, or even had enough experiences to realize where a bunch of these frequencies coming from, because you will avoid a lot of experiences based upon your oversoul or what you've been indoctrinated with or with your religion. So for the most part, you're not experiencing things in the world. When a person go through a lot of experiences, they're receiving a lot of different spiritual natures, a lot of different frequencies, a lot of different vibrations. So when one person's spirit and start to intake a bunch of different experiences, their own spirit has a lot to decipher. So a lot of time, a person who went through a lot of experiences have no time to be indoctrinated or have no time to be heavily involved into one way of looking at something or heavily religious, because all these experiences, each experience carried a different frequency vibration. So when a person is collecting a whole bunch of baggage or a whole bunch of experiences and learn how to not have it as baggage, but if a person just went through, aka a lot of experiences, they received a lot of different variations of different things from different locations. So all within these experiences consist of a bunch of elements and energies and information that come from different sources. So a person who's very experienced is wise enough to know that a person who is indoctrinated or heavily religious may be just a spirit that's unexperienced at the end of the day. So this is why everybody either manifest someone around them that can help them climb the ladder, but everybody is on their own way on the steps, and everybody are using each other as a stepping stool and able to elevate. So this is why you're never supposed to put someone down who may not understand things the way you understand it, or you're not supposed to, you know what I'm saying, like look down on someone just because they are heavily religious or they're heavily indoctrinated or they heavily into science or they heavily atheist. Any of those doctrines, you know what I'm saying? This is why it's not good to look down on them, because for the most part they're just in search for they're in search to climb the ladder, and then they're just on their step of it. and some may be lower than others, and some may be higher than others. But for the most part, you will understand that. So a person who come into this world, say, is a experienced spirit that came into this world, whatever physical shape and form that it takes, is already going to understand from the jump. Or a lot of times it may have to go through certain experiences to wake up and start to understand from the jump of what's going on. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of these people play out as star seeds or messiah seeds, or people who are not heavily indoctrinated, or who are not heavily scientific, or who are not heavily religious, because their spirit have experienced so many shapes and forms and so many bodies here already that it's on its way out. A lot of these people, spirits, come into bodies that take shapes and forms of the numerology number 9. So a lot of, like me, I'm a number 9 person. So I may experience a lot of endings way earlier in life than a lot of other people. So that mean I end up having more wisdom and knowledge or experience of this realm than others. So, you know what I'm saying, it may play out in certain characteristics and traits like that. And a lot of 1 signs is fairly new people, new spirits, here to experience. So they're here more to understand the self, understand more of the self, here to be selfish, because they're going to be manifesting a lot of circumstances where where they're in a bunch of dualities of things, and they may be forced to be passive or forced to, so they're here to be more. See, each numerology have its own path. See what I'm saying? But that's another video. Before, I don't want to get into all that. But you know, as far as the spell, anytime something is attached to and these are contracts. So you know, if you don't have an esoteric lawyer, so when you go to spiritual court, you might not know what's going on. You going day to day up there, same way you going day to day down here, and you could be signing contracts, aka then it manifests into circumstances and situations to the point that you have severe responsibilities in the physical realm. You know what I'm saying? To the point that you end up having 10 kids, or you got 10 jobs, or you are a millionaire, or you end up developing something like you end up having a bunch of responsibilities that you can't actually spiritually detach from. And if you do detach from it, it's going to harden or kind of fuck with the frequency of your spirit, because your spirit is attached to these things. So this is examples of your spirit being attached to a shape or form, a light, a sound, a gas, something that's attached to the energy realm. And your spirit is in the world of the frequency vibration realm. So once it get attached and get lost into the energy realm of light and sound and shapes and forms, it's not going to be able to get a hold of itself, and it get lost and scattered and get ripped apart, and it's hell, because your spirit is lost in fire, flame, light, or forms of light. Too much light is get hot, right? Your spirit going to feel that as flame, and this is where the concept of that came from. So, you know, patterns and consistency and doing things on an everyday schedule creates hell. So everything that you do every day, you're gonna get tired of doing it. So this imagine things that you do every day, but you're not even allowed to get tired of doing it. So you're signing spiritual contracts and things of that nature that you may be esoterically doing, that you need an esoteric lawyer to get you up out of this. And the more time you've been in jail, the more you're going to experience in this life, in the physical. The more you've been in spiritual jail, the more you're going to experience in the physical life of the longer responsibilities it is, the harder the responsibilities, the more bondage, the more things you feel like the weight is on your shoulders and shit like that. That's an example of how long your spirit been in jail. Now, your spirit may have been in jail, and you may have not seen any representations on earth yet of being in any forms of bondage, but it's going to start playing out slowly but surely, and it may play out light, and then it start getting heavier and heavier. It may be a specific situation that you keep experiencing, like every day, that's just a couple seconds. You know what I'm saying? That you may wake up in your room and don't clean your room, and you may trip over a certain thing that's always there because you're not cleaning up. It's gonna start off at that. Then it's gonna start to lead off, and people coming into your life, that's responsibility and bondages, and it may be in situations that you don't even think it's a bondage. You may think it's a friendship. It's gonna be a form of a bondage in some way, shape, or form. Then it's gonna start playing out in circumstances and situations of you creating the same thing. Then it's gonna start playing out into, is this gonna be some play out shit that is like every day the same shit, every day same shit, every day same shit, to the point that you start developing even more on that. And then it plays out in a whole existence. even from jobs to people, to places, to responsibilities, to things, to the point that you're heavily burdened here. Now, your spirit can't even be free now, because your spirit is constantly onto these things, because your spirit is trying to wonder what would happen if these things was to be gone, let go. That's how many responsibilities and attachments you attach to yourself. Now, just think about it. Think about if you're a person with 10 kids. Now, your spirit is in all kind of fucked up places and lost into the physical realm, because your spirit is trying to figure out how you're going to provide. And the only ways to provide, to understand, is in the energy realm. So your spirit have to put your physical, which is in the energy realm, have to put it through a lot of durabilities and transformations and things of that nature just to obtain what you think you need to do. So think about all the shit you putting your spirit through, all the stress, all the burden, all the being consciously aware of the same thing every day. And when you're being consciously aware of it, you're attaching to your soul, which is your individual spirit. You're attaching all the vibrations to these things, which is the pain, the harbor, the weight, the water. So you end up only manifesting bigger bodies and shapes and forms that's going to have those kind of experiences. So when you die, you take more of those bodies, more of those experiences. You keep going down and down and down, so you be here forever. You know? So it's important to run away from anything that's attached to the RE, the re energy. Because once you put your spirit into that, now you have to make sure anything that's tied to the RE here, make sure it's something that you're spiritually involved in. If it's something that's outside of you, off the bat, you're signing terms and conditions, and you're agreeing to terms and conditions of a pattern that's ruled by a higher authority spirit. And this spirit may inhabit a person that you may not like, aka your boss, or aka your friend, or aka whoever got you in this pattern that you end up tired of, but you can't fully detach from. It can even play as your kid, your child. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people have kids of their worst enemies. For an example, if you are a person who did a bunch of shit in a previous body as your spirit, then you had died from that body, and then you took this body in this lifetime, right? And say on your mind, you haven't learned nothing from that last life. So in this lifetime, only thing on your mind, only thing on your spirit is hate, and I don't give a fuck, and fuck this mother. A bunch of frequency vibrations from the last life. You know what? You're going to end up having that's on your mind. So that spirit, that when it's time for them to die, they're going to end up being able to take a light that they resonate with. And if they hate you too, guess what? Since they was on your mind, it may be a different name, frequency vibe, but it's the same frequency vibration. Because you got you got them on your mind, or you got that frequency vibration on your mind. They're going to take that light as a body, and if you always got that kind of shit on your mind, boom, inside your mind is that light. They're going to go inside you, become all the fluids, and become one of your goddamn children in this physical realm of reality. So you end up having a children that you can't goddamn stand. You may have had a child of an enemy that you had in a previous motherfucking life. So it's important to get yourself spiritually understood and not to get attacked. This could be attached to, see, the beginnings of you attaching yourself in your spirit in these kind of rotations can start just by you agreeing to terms and conditions of something that got something to do with re. That's a job that's you having to do community service. You know what I'm saying? You doing jail time. You agreeing to these terms and conditions. Even people who have the jobs to put you into these places. You see what I'm saying? A judge, he agreed to the terms and conditions to create patterns for someone. So it's in a pattern of doing that. You see what I'm saying? So this is creating things on people's spirits and creating things on their own spirit. So this thing, can't nobody judge you but God. So just because you got a case and you have to go to court and you think a judge is judging you, don't think that judge ain't being judged also. Who gave that judge the right to judge? See, in the physical realm, getting lost in lights and forms and shit like that, that spirit is lost. And you ain't got nothing but another lineage spirit from a galactic federation of light that's already in the family business in this rotation and pattern, and coming here and taking shapes and forms and bodies of these motherfuckers. So as physical forms, when they get birthed and born, they're born into circumstances and situations and experiences that allow them to have the spiritual ideas to become judges and police officers and lawyers and shit. When lawyers are something different. Lawyers are something different, but you know, judges and shit and prosecutors and shit like that. And this is why they're allowed to do that. And they life take out shapes and forms and they end up in situations that they could go to school or want to go to school to become judges and shit like that. You have to, it's all start from the spirit realm before this realm, you know. Like I said, the government and all that in itself ain't nothing but the physical representation of the Galactic Federation of Light, which is the myth, the my story, the mystery, the frequency vibrational beings that's doing that shit up there. Same way you up there in the astral realm also maneuver and traveling. But you can get your ass locked up real fast by attaching yourself to that RE energy. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, don't try not to do that, because you're going to put yourself in some type of fit. If it ain't something that your creation that you're working on, so you can say something is redone and you can reiterate and re-itemize, and just like a person who's creating more pieces to their home or more pieces to their gadget so it can work better, add more apps to their social networking or something, or this, that, and the third, that's when it can be utilized. But anytime you're getting stuck into a pattern that's outside of you, that's like an app. Okay, this is a difference between Instagram. Say Instagram is you, and then it's a specific app that'll make your pictures better. So you could rather get it or you don't have to get it, but it's an add-on. Boom, that's cool. Say it's an app now you gotta get, like Facebook and Instant Messenger. You can't even see your messengers without Instant Messenger. That's an outside entity putting you into a pattern. Now that's the RE, something you redoing every day that's outside of you. That's a hell being read by another intellectual being that might be lost, just as lost as you. So that's the blind leading the blind. See what I'm saying? You gotta get the fuck out of that as a spirit. But for the most part, anytime that type of situation come around, that's get the fuck away from that one. Now, if it's an app that you can choose for yourself that'll make your social better, but you ain't gotta get it, boom. That's a redoing you could put your spiritual nature in. Now, I'm just correlating like if your spirit was Facebook, right? And then you got apps that you can get it or don't get, but it'll make your Facebook better if you get it. And then you got apps that you can't even use it unless you get this app on your spirit. You see what I'm saying? That's how I like to correlate it. Those apps, don't fuck with those apps. That's the redoing. And think about how much governments and how much different things control those motherfuckers, and those motherfuckers be lost. So you'll find yourself thinking everything is right or wrong based upon what this person is doing, and this person is just doing a right or wrong on a higher level. So they can look down on you and look at you like you ain't shit, but they just doing a higher wrong on a higher level. So I mean, they ain't shit. And once you truly understand that, you'll start creating circumstances and situations in your life to get up out of those situations. But yeah, that's the RE energy. I wanted the RE spell. It's a spell, and it put your spirit, it put your physical body and your spirit under a spell to be in some type of rotation, and you thinking that you need this rotation and this pattern and rotation and routine. You could get throughout all these experiences, you can get so attached and add so many other investments and attachments to yourself to the point that you don't even see your Facebook working without Instant Messenger. Delete motherfucking Instant Messenger. Everybody delete that shit. And I bet you Facebook creates some shit that you don't have to utilize that shit to get your motherfucking messengers. I guarantee it. So sad. And you can metaphorically put that down in so many other different ways if you understood it that way. Flight boss, bitch, goddamn air.